Hi gamers, it's SFG here, and apologies, this is quite late, but I'm going to cover an update that kind of snuck in. I didn't really see this on the 14th of April, so it is a bit late, this video, apologies, but it's version 13 Elves. So I'm just going to cover this, we're going to read through the patch notes. Shadows of Forbidden Gods, obviously we're covering here. I'm going to read through the patch notes. I'm not going to cut to any gameplay in this video. I'm going to try and keep it quite short and sweet, and hopefully this will also release while I'm on holiday. We'll see if I get a chance, but well, without further ado, here we go. So version 13 Elves, or 0.13. The game adds new minor races, new achievements and some UI improvements. Lovely. So version 13 is here, introducing Elves, a usually good aligned minor race, as well as UI changes and new achievements. Elves are a proud people, often to their own detriment. They have an arrogance which you can exploit, driving them towards isolationism and contempt for humanity. We've done that actually a few times, you may have seen in my live Let's Plays. Avoiding putting the elves at risk can lead them to ignoring the conflicts of the human world, favouring their own internal affairs. Elven society is highly structured and can be brittle under pressure. Their rulers depend on the Wayfinder hero to replace lost kings and queens, and the Wayfinder themselves must be appointed by the Elven nation's sovereign. If both die, therefore, the elves find themselves in a political deadlock and will spend years fixing this before they can take action once again on the world stage. Despite this, they are resilient and dangerous foe to your forces. They are immune to plague and resist shadow by means of elf stones, which their crystal smith hero produces. These absorb shadow from the owner, and so protect elven society from the shadowlands. We've seen these as well. They can also be a point of weakness, however, if properly exploited, so you can corrupt them. The crystal smith employs arcane secrets to craft new stones, and if these have been turned dangerous by your agents, the elf will be driven insane. They can also be corrupted and start spreading shadow instead. Along with elves, the new events have been added, the new exploration opportunities for runes, new things to do, see and explore will add to the game's lore and give players more decisions to make as their agents go about their tasks. Definitely, I love the new events. So good, and I haven't played too much with the new opportunities for the runes, but I have seen a few of them. You may have seen another video where you've got dragons and things, they look amazing. This version also adds another batch of achievements, including unique endings. I haven't noticed this. Oh, achievements indeed. Yes, we've seen the achievements, haven't seen the unique. I think there's unique ending art coming soon, but we'll get there. UI has also had some attention given, and more will be done in the coming months. It looks so much better even now. Most notably, a set of icons at the top. We've seen these. Representing messages received this turn, including those set not to show full screen messages. Various other quality of life changes have also been added, such as indicating progress in mid-challenge events, or a warning before an agent is moved during a long challenge, which hopefully could save them from losing progress due to a misclick. It has indeed. Changes in detail then. Gameplay. Elves added. We've covered them, you've seen a video on them, you can go and have a look at that at your leisure if you like more detail. Insane heroes can now be corrupted, I'm assuming that means kind of like in shadow controlled. Rulers on borders may now spawn with dislikes or likes for their neighbouring nations, fair. People with family members of different species are likely to be created with liking for that species, that makes sense. Hierophants now can't cause extreme preferences, a bit of a nerf to Hierophants, that's a shame. But maybe justified, it was quite powerful what they could do. Heroes are now motivated to disrupt people exploring higher level runes. Interesting, because the runes allure them so much, so obviously there's something important there, that's good. Heroes can now wait at the entrance for a rune to become available. Oh, okay, so they can wait there until it's available and jump in. Ruler stats affect modifier growth, disappearance and security, 50% at default per point in stat, so 100% at 2, 50% at 1 stat, and 150% at 3. Oh, that's cool, so they can affect modifiers by having, I've seen this I think, where I've seen like ruler stat and it's given them more security and what have you if it's relevant. That's quite good. Reduced probability of mega nations appearing. So this is when there's one huge, obviously big block nation, right? Reduced war motivation, especially related to the war on threat national action to compensate. Fair. Changeling minion added to menagerie. I've not seen this. Lets you shift blame like the misleading clues ability, but in a less directed fashion. That's cool. I'd like to see that. Option to select whether minimum world panic is determined by the guard victory progress or for there to be no minimum. We've seen this. Added a bunch more mid-challenge events. I've seen those. Added 2 new unique exploration dungeons. I haven't seen those, I don't think. In Shadow Challenge can't be performed if ward is higher than 50%. That was initially balked where it had to be lower than if ward was higher than, you had to have ward higher than 50% to be able to in Shadow, which was a bit funny. But that's obviously fixed now. If unrest reaches 300%, you now have the option to use it to increase devastation by 100. That's good. This is actually a great change in Shadow 1 because that is kind of key for... That really helps a number of strategies actually that would otherwise be fairly exploitative. I think it tones them down some. Ruler action, descent into the deep, now affected by danger preference. Cowards descend earlier. Oh, cool. And unrest in location. Nice. Change the smoker event to only increase profile and antiquity seller event to increase menace by only 2 from 4. Target Vespid swarm power now forces all Vespid armies, that's the Cordyceps, to begin a move to task immediately regardless of current situation. Armies now require a movement point to begin battle and consume one when starting a battle. That's cool, to avoid risk-free hit and run disrupting of enemy armies. That's a really good change, actually. I've seen that I didn't realise that's what it's for, but I have seen armies do have like movement points spent in their information panel, which is good. Armies cannot start raising a settlement while in battle, that makes sense. New wonder, the entrance teleports agents. I've seen this, that's quite cool. On to the other now. New UI at the top of the map shows icons for the messages, letting you see at a glance what happened this turn. Indeed, I love them. Grey borders added to the religion and house mask views to better find dark coloured religions and houses on the map. I love those too. Added button to redo challenge if available. That's good. We've seen this as well. Mod config no longer requires rebuild if nothing was changed. Excellent, but I'm sure it does do on mine. If a mid challenge, that's if you're changing your mods, what you got active, you have to load them all in at the minute at the start, which is kind of irritating. If a mid-challenge event occurs, which features one of your units performing a challenge, it indicates how far along... Oh, I've seen this, is great, yeah. Every mid-challenge event now says, like, currently doing this, progress this, which is fantastic. Clicking on an agent's portrait on the side roster now selects them but doesn't pan to them on the first click. I dislike this, but it's, you know, horses for courses, right? It's preference, you just double-click to go to them now. Actually, no, I did like this. Yeah, I kept clicking on the side roster. It's the other roster that does it now, which is a bit of an irritant. Items for sale, map mask added to quickly find and go to desirable items. Never used it, it's a shame, I should have used that. Messages now have a national flag and nation's name if they display a person, unit or location. Nice. Just giving you some information there. Slightly improved unit visibility and map masks, good. When you go to unit/person location in a message, all subsequent messages are dismissed rather than pop up as you try to deal with the current message's information. Interesting, that's a good change. The icons for dismissed messages will go red to indicate they need... Ah, I've seen this, yeah, this is in the attention. If an order, change, challenge, move or attack is given to an agent, which would cancel the challenge in more than 5 turns of progress, a game will request confirmation. I like this. Scrolling elements such as save, loading or Yasta's powers UI now highlight the selected item and change its text colour. Oh, that's good. Yes, I've seen this in the saves actually, so the save will highlight so you can see easily which one is selected. Updated location watch feature to also give a full screen message when the ruler begins an action. Watch people or locations who are sovereigns or capitals now report the national action is starting for their society. Lovely. Hopefully there won't be another release while I'm on holiday. Well, actually, hopefully there is, but I'll have to cover it late. Apologies if that's the case. Bug fixes. Runes are now fully explored properly. Nice. Fixed bug in which a location's infiltration could exceed 100%. Chaos. Deep on Santoms now correctly handle the edge case. Have reached 300% with no settlements present. Okay. Never knew that was a thing. Threats display should now be a bit more responsive to changes made during the player's turn. Fixed tag issue in appoint state religion. I've seen this. Fixed name issue for Coven's temples in point of interest map view. Good. The fixes misleading clues can't be attempted with a ruler item. It would previously waste the challenge. Requirement text updated for clarity. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't realise this. Fixed crash when a human settlement had no points of interest. Cordyceps God can no longer turn armors into hives. This is for modding, I think, the fixed crash one. Okay, that makes sense. Cordyceps. Probably a bit of a nerf rather than not. I'll probably call that gameplay, but whatever. Maybe it was a bug. The Chosen One is cured of vampirism and deep on affliction automatically. That's fair. The Harvester's curses will no longer work on insect drones or other natural evil creatures. Neutral evil creatures, forgive me. Fixed bug while crush a game whenever Orc Raiders are attacked. Oh my word. Fixed issue causing corrupted heroes to be affected by the hero level cap. Fixed prophecy for Holy Site not working properly. Fixed issue where good heroes would use evil challenges permitted by item. That's a shame. Fixed display bug in Holy Orders where it was displayed plus negative in front of a negative value. Fixed bug where orcs would take over and then delete a Minerva Heart of the forest. Yeah, you don't want that. Fixed critical bug where a bugged mod could render the game allowed to start over again. Oh my word. Fixed bug preventing Geomantic Assault Channeler from working if the agent was in the same location as their target. I never saw this mod bug, by the way. I don't know what that's referring to. Fixed bug where witches would fail to recognise their covens as neighbouring faiths for the Preach Faith challenge. Fixed incorrect values in description of Holy Dark Worship challenge. Fixed display bug for hero planning where it looked like they were thinking of disrupting neutral units like an orc upstart but were in fact not able to. Fixed AI bug where units didn't realise what an army was shadowed and therefore wouldn't block them despite their high menace and profile. So by the way, as we get into the late game of this development cycle, as it were, for this game, I would expect more bug fixes and more gameplay changes rather than full elements added, right? By definition, which, you know, I think Bob is looking to wind up, move towards full release, and that means having the game as stable, secure, slick as possible. Using all those S's, a bit of alliteration there for you. Ruler can no longer fund outposts after the outpost is completed. That makes a lot of sense. Ruler escape city event fixed to not work if the ruler was the one raising a city. Right. Holy Orders International View now shows relation to witches properly. Holy Orders with randomised tenants will no longer have the possibility of a permanently non-zero status for intransigent faith. Reworded tooltip for lay low in non-human settlements. It should no longer be possible for an agent to command 2 ladders at once. Fixed issue where occasionally a challenge's complexity would appear differently in 2 different UI locations. Fixed description of raid periphery to mention complexity increasing with defences. Fixed tooltip for blasphemous worship. Lovely. Lots of upvotes, a few comments. Great. As deserved, really. So, another great change. Elves, huge change. We've seen them, we've covered them, but I've done a video on those obviously anyway, but I just wanted to kind of get this in. Since this, we've had a number of bug fixes here, as you can see, a number of gameplay changes and tweaks and what have you. So the game is under such, this is yesterday, my time, so the developments are just real quick fire here, and they still continue to be very substantial updates with a lot of content. I'm super hyped. The UI stuff for me, it's really weird, right, because I've been playing this game a long time, so some of these changes I'm like, I do what I would expect to do based on how the game used to be, but it's not necessarily the slickest or the most sensible way that it should be, right? It's just my habit. And some of these changes are so good. Like the icons at the top in particular are, they are tasty. Like, just in terms of the overall aesthetics of the game, how it delivers information, huge staggering improvements there. So I'm a massive fan of some of these changes. It might not be as exciting as like a new guard, or although to me a new race is super exciting, but you know, some of the other additions we've seen to the game. But for me, I really like this, and I think Bobby now, I'm gonna guess, is gonna spend time kind of refining the systems that are currently in place, making them as slick as possible, getting things ready for that version 1 release, and then hopefully releasing to a lot of fanfare and, you know, excitement on Steam and other places. As always, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you want to see more of this sort of content, or you're interested in this game, subscribe, because I do cover this game a lot. Thank you to my 2 members who are gamers, that being Fed and Hand and Hullasalsa. Thank you very much, you guys, for supporting me. If you'd like to support the channel, you can become a member. You can also donate, but I don't know if I think it works. I don't know if it does, to be honest, but well, yeah, apparently you can. So I'm told. But yeah, if you'd like to support, it would be very much welcome. Thank you very much for those that do so. And hopefully I will see you on the next video. Take care.